This is another great one someone brought up, is daylight savings time. And everyone knows the name is daylight savings. It's daylight savings time. Daylight savings with an S. Savings. But if, oops, oh no, is it out of order? Well, anyways, go and look up daylight savings, and you'll see that it's now called daylight saving. With no S. Daylight saving time. The Facebook search suggested results are a good way to find some residue of your past reality, because in the search results so far today it hasn't changed. And I know people believe Chick-fil-A was spelled either with a K or a C. No one remembers it CK in our group. A few members might, but it's either a C or K depending on where you're from. And where I'm from, people remember it as a K, and most people remember it as a C. But whether you type C or K, it doesn't really matter on the Facebook search results, suggestions. And you can see they're all over the place. Georgia, Colorado, Washington, Illinois. But the funny thing is, when you go and click on this CHIC filet, the page will be spelled CHICK. So the search results show it spelled the correct way, and when you go to the page, it's changed. So that, I mean, that's just bizarre. And same with CHIK. It'll be spelt this way, and look at on there, it says CHICK even in their icon there. And then when you go and click on the page, usually it says CHICK. So you see that the glitch hasn't fixed everything. I mean, there's still remnants of our reality out there. And this is recently, I think within the past 2 days, YouTube, just go put in interview. A vampire, a vampire, a vampire. There isn't even a the anywhere on here. So it just shows you. It just shows you. And you can find it all over. And memes. Go look up memes for all these things. Ukulele. Uke, I am your father. And it should say, no, I am your father. You know, by our own reality. This type of joke should not even exist in our reality, because he never said, Luke, I am your father in our reality. Yet people know that make these jokes that it was that. Here's another religious one that someone brought up. The wolf will live with the lambs. Well, I think most people in the world know it's the lion shall lay down with the lamb. You know, imagine this, the king of the beasts, the most mighty hunter in the world, laying down with the most innocent of creatures. And it's not wolf. But if you look today, it's changed to wolf. Just like Henry VIII changed that drumstick in his hand, these pictures have changed it from a lion and a lamb. I think, maybe. A lot of people in the Mandela Effect Research Committee, believe that alternate universes are meshing. And I think that won our poll question, that they believe it's universes meshing into each other. And that's a popular opinion. I believe personally, and this is just my opinion, that that some sort of machine like CERN or some nefarious group is creating these glitches. And I have a tendency to stay away from the supernatural and believing in that. So that's probably where I'm caught on that one. Another thing we learned is that a lot of people that study and are interested in the Mandela effect have tinnitus, which is a ringing or buzzing or humming in your ears. And it might come and go. For instance, mine might come in a 5 or 10 second blast, just a high pitched. And I used to have it as a kid. I don't have it anymore. It was constant as a kid. Every single waking hour I had a ringing in my ear. And today it's gone. But it will come in as a blast once in a while. This high pitched squeal. And there's nothing, I know there's nothing in my environment that's making this noise. It's in my ear. But there's an incredible amount of people that are studying the Mandela effect that have this tinnitus in their ear. And I felt that was interesting. And we all are, many of us are tinnitus sufferers. Although I don't think it's really suffering. The name of shoes, Skechers. is now spelled Skechers when we believe there used to be a T in the name of the shoes. And not to throw anyone off, but I truly remember that there was a Z at the end of it myself. That's just me from where I came from. Skechers. That's just me throwing that out there for other people. But generally speaking, we all remember it with the T, the Skechers brand shoes. And Procter & Gamble. This is another interesting one. And her friend worked for Procter & Gamble. She asked her friend, how do you spell it? She said O-R. It's now spelled Procter with an E-R, Procter, instead of Proctor. And her friend kind of freaks out that it's now changed. And let's see, it's on her resume and whatnot, it hasn't changed. But on a commemorative plate, it's changed. And there's pictures. If you want to come into our group, you can go and see those pictures of the plate and her resume. I don't want to put them on here for the world. But Procter & Gamble, it's Proctor is the old version, and it's now TER. Do I get into Anne Rice here? No, I have to say something about Anne Rice. If you want to go and bug her about the Mandela effect, be prepared for negative things to happen to you in your life after you contact her if you're bugging her. And I don't believe in the supernatural like I just said, but the 2 days that I got a hold of Anne Rice, I probably would have rather not have gotten a hold of her from the two things that happened to me on those 2 different days. So just giving you a warning, go bug the hell out of her on her Facebook page, but be prepared for negative things to happen to you. And I'm not saying anything, not a single thing negative about Anne Rice at all. She's wonderful, and she puts herself out there to her fans, and she's awesome. And she answered the questions that I had for her. And I saw this on her Facebook page. It's the official Anne Rice Facebook page. It is Anne Rice on that page. Please be respectful to this woman. She's given us such a great piece of artwork into our lives. Respect her. She's great. But I noticed that she had interrogating the text of the Book of Life. And I thought, well, what are we doing? We're interrogating the text of the Book of Life. It's not just movies, it's words, and it's the text that we're interrogating. So, I mean, I felt that this is kind of her talking about the Mandela effect. Well, anyways, I went and asked her a few questions, and she was more than kind enough to answer me. And I asked her about this Imagine Movies magazine cover from, I believe, the 90s, where it says, I asked her, why does it say Interview with a Vampire? It should say Interview with the Vampire Chronicles, because that's the name of the movie today. Interview with the Vampire Chronicles. But it only says Interview with a Vampire. And if you think that's a fluke, well, here's another one, Imagine Movies, where they're making Interview with a Vampire. And I asked her. I like that cover with the staples. And she said, well, that's the copy editor's fault. He should have caught it. And I showed her a number of different things. And I showed Miss Rice Google results. Interview with. Why is it all And her answer was, it should be the. And I agree with her. In our present day reality, if it is what they say it is, Interview with the Vampire Chronicles, it should say the. So she agreed with me that it's wrong. And there you see, I was on her page and I asked her, and I didn't mean to bully you or bother you, Miss Rice. I'm sorry, but I had to ask. I had to ask you. And it's all over the place. And anyone can go out and mine reality residue for Interview with the Vampire. It's all over the place. It's all over. So, bother Miss Rice at your own discretion, and know that whatever happens to you in the end, it's probably your fault, not hers. Another one is the North Pole. And I'm like, why is there a Mandela effect about the North Pole? Could someone explain? So I just actually went and looked up because no one was answering me. And it's the North Pole is just a it's a vast expanse of water that's mostly slushy ice. There's no land there anymore. It's just water. And we all know that Santa Claus is from the North Pole and the North Pole exists. Well, that's geography again, and go look up what the North Pole is for today. And a lot of this is the geography of the Earth changing and switching around. We'll get into a little bit of that. Here's the poll about the medical problems. If you want to look at this, go ahead and pause it. But it's just showing you that ear ringing or tinnitus, 32 of us, and of course we're all tired. All of us suffer from that. They work us to death these days for nothing. Of course we're all going to be tired. So there's a little list of all the different, and there were 700 people in the group at the time, so you see only 40 people are tired out of 700, so take that as you will. But there is an enormous amount of us with tinnitus. My mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. And here's a cartoon showing that. And life is like a box of chocolates. She's trying to help out her son through life. You know, life's like a box of chocolates. And she'd never say life was. She wouldn't just be referring back to her own life. Life was like a box of chocolates for me. She's telling that to her son. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So, yeah. And there's that Procter & Gamble. Someone found this residue. It's spelled correctly. Procter. There's one I wanted to talk about in here. And you look at, I misspelled this somewhere up here. I'm like, I did not misspell that. Is that a Mandela effect? I misspelled something up there. I can't remember where it is. Oh, it's in Berenstain. I didn't write Berenstain there. I'm like, no way. Is that? I don't know. But Laurel and Hardy, this is another fine mess you've gotten us into. And I said that as a kid. You know, I said that line as a kid. And I never once said me. This is another fine mess you've gotten me into. He's putting, oh, you've put me in a bad spot again. You've done this again. I should just stop being friends with you. You're doing this horrible thing. No, they're a team. This is another fine mess you've gotten us into. It's just like the Jaws glitch. They're taking us away from a team. You're going to need a bigger boat. I'm not on your team anymore, but you're going to need a bigger boat. And this is another fine mess you've gotten me into. They're taking those two away as a team. So we're looking for all these little clues and these Mandela effects. And it looks like in the Jaws and the Laurel and Hardy incident, they're taking away two people that are known team members, and they're separating them. So I just wanted to bring that one up. And Cruella de Vil, this is just ridiculous. Do you think that Disney back in the day would have spelled her name Devil, D-E-V-I-L? They wouldn't have. I mean, people would have called them on that and caught that over time. Cruella Devil. It's not. It's V-I-L-L-E. Cruella de Vil. And today, in our new reality, it's Cruella Devil. This is a picture from Interview with a Vampire, Los Angeles premiere. And like I said, these are all over the place. If you want to see everyone's... And no one puts the Vampire Chronicles at the end. No one does, ever. Except for in the imagery on Google, the book covers and whatnot, and on our movies and whatnot, our DVDs. That's where it says the Vampire Chronicles. And I did notice that all of the Anne Rice books used to say the Vampire Chronicles on it. And she said, the name of my book is Interview with the Vampires. That's what she told me on her Facebook page. And I had to correct her. I said, no, it's actually Interview with the Vampire Chronicles, Miss Rice. That's the name of your book. And since I told her that, you'll find fewer and fewer and fewer images of her book with that in the title than you're used to. They're still out there, but it used to be, I think all of them said that on her book title, if you go and searched it. And go and look at your book titles for Interview with the Vampire, the book, and see if they do or do not say the Vampire Chronicles on it now, because I believe it changed most recently. And I'm sorry I had to correct you, Miss Rice, on the title of the name of your book today. There's another one someone brought up, In Sync, and they said, oh, the star, this is why they have the star in their name. And we know that it was N star sync and not star in sync, but in today's reality it's always been star in sync. So it's as much as I want to spend on that one. And there's the results for daylight saving time. Someone said cats and dogs is actually cats versus dogs. Skechers shoes. Someone found a puzzle on his sidewalk. Pretty sure it has to do with the Mandela effect. I'm just kidding, but I had to include that because it is a puzzle. And there is a puzzle involved, and we're trying to figure out what it is. This is quotes, best quotes from Snow White, and they didn't even correct it. It's still mirror, mirror on the wall.